Hey Guardians, I just want to let everyone know that I do have both a Twitch and a Twitter, and I'm very active on both. Feel free to come give me a follow on both, links in the description. Guardians, today we're talking about another one of the reprised Garden of Salvation weapons, and one that I haven't seen many people talking about, but that I still think deserves some time in the spotlight. Today, we're taking a look at Reckless Oracle, a 720 RPM Void Auto Rifle, and honestly, my new favorite of the archetype. There's good stuff here for PvP and for PvE. Now, starting with PvP, we've talked about a number of 720 autos in the past, and it is true, they're in kind of an awkward place. 720s are outranged by just about every other mid-range option in the game, other auto rifle archetypes, hand cannons, pulse rifles, so on and so forth, and they do tend to sit dangerously close to SMG range, which is also a problem, because in that range bracket they will get bullied all day by submachine guns. But I still really love 720 autos, and if nothing else, they're a lot of fun, and this is by far the best feeling legendary 720 I've ever used. So, starting with your stat perks, let's take a look at your base stats. An abysmal 26 range with only 22.4 meters of reach, 56 stability, which is usable enough, 42 handling, 75 aim assist, and 10 AE. So, first things first, you need range on this thing. 22 meters just is not going to cut it. There are SMGs in the game that can reach that range and they'll bully Oracle all day, and other mid-range options will outrange you by a lot. So, for your barrel, I would go with small bore or hammer forged rifling. I do prefer small bore here just for a little extra stability as well. Then for your magazine, ricochet rounds. For your masterwork, go with range, then enhance the weapon and throw a ballistics mod on there. So, assuming you went with small bore, that will give you 54 range with an effective reach of 28 meters, still not great, but usable enough, and 79 stability. Now, in those third and fourth columns, again talking PvP, you have Killing Wind, Keep Away, and Tap the Trigger. Favorite options here are Keep Away and Killing Wind. Tap the Trigger isn't bad, but honestly, I never really felt like I needed it on this weapon. Then in the fourth column, Swashbuckler, Dynamic Sway, Kill Clip, and Paracausal Affinity. Now, let's jump right into combos here. Keep in mind, this is assuming you are crafting the weapon and are enhancing the perks. So, first off, if we're talking dueling, then I would go with Keep Away and Dynamic Sway. Keep Away mainly for the plus 12 to your range, again if it's enhanced, taking you up to 66 range and a much better 30.4 meters. And yes, of course, the increase to your reload speed and accuracy is also very helpful, but the range is the main appeal here. Then in the fourth column, Dynamic Sway for the increase to your stability with sustained fire. Now obviously, 720s really aren't the best duelers. At tier 10 resilience, you're looking at 9 crits and 2 body shots for a 0.83 second TTK. Below tier 10, and you're looking at a 0.75 second TTK with 10 crits and 9 crits and 1 body if your target is at tier 4 or below, but that just is not going to happen these days. So, you're outranged by most other mid-range weapons and out TTK'd by a number of them as well, such as high-impact pulse rifles. That being said, as 720s go, this one was still usable as a dueler, more so than other 720s I've used. Would I take this into trials or comp? Probably not, but if nothing else, it's still very fun to use in 6s. Now, talking kill chaining, and really this is where I think this weapon shines. You have Keep Away and Killing Wind in the third column, then Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, or Paracausal Affinity in the fourth column. As a more general purpose role, my favorite combo is going to be Keep Away with Kill Clip or Paracausal Affinity. Keep Away for the same reasons I mentioned before, Kill Clip or Paracausal Affinity for damage boosts. Now, Kill Clip will give you a 25% damage boost after reloading for 5.5 seconds as long as you reload within 3.6 seconds of a kill, and Paracausal Affinity will give you a 20% damage boost for 7 seconds for a kill with the weapon or from any matching energy source, meaning including abilities and heavy weapons. So this means that if you get a kill with, say, Avoid Ability or Avoid Heavy, Avoid Super, then that will also proc Paracausal Affinity. Now, which you pick will mostly depend on which appeals to you more. Kill Clip will give you a slightly higher damage boost and can be delayed a little if needed for that 3.6 seconds, and Paracausal Affinity does not require a reload, but also cannot be delayed as it will proc immediately. It gives a slightly smaller damage boost, but you can proc it from other sources. And if you're wondering what TTK numbers look like, then with Kill Clip your TTK drops to 0.67 seconds at tier 10 resilience with 7 crits and 2 body shots. Then at tier 3 to tier 9 resilience you have a 0.58 second TTK with 8 crits, and below tier 3 resilience your TTK stays the same but you can kill with 7 crits and 1 body. Then with Paracausal Affinity at tier 8 to 10 resilience you have a 0.67 second TTK with 8 crits and 1 body shot. Tier 5 to 7, same TTK with 7 crits and 2 body shots. Tier 4 and below, 0.58 seconds with 8 crits. So you can pick according to what sounds better to you. Now, that's my choice for just a good general purpose kill chaining roll, but if you want to take a more hyper-aggressive approach, you could double up on kill perks and go with Killing Wind, which will give you a boost to mobility, handling, and range for 5.5 seconds on a kill, and then combine it with any of the aforementioned damage perks. Killing Wind will give you 50 mobility, 40 handling, and 20 range on a kill. So, if you're someone with a hyper-aggressive playstyle, then this might be a better choice. From there, let's talk about Swashbuckler. Now, if you have a good melee build, which really isn't that hard these days, in fact, it's about as simple as just putting on Prismatic Titan, then Swash will give you a stacking damage buff, and it can stack up to 5 times. You'll get 1 stack per weapon kill, or a melee kill will give you all 5 stacks, and those 5 stacks will give you a 33% damage buff. So your TTK with max Swash stacks procced is a 0.58 second TTK across all resiliences, with 7 crits and 1 body shot at tier 5 to 10 resilience, and 6 crits, 2 body shots at tier 4 or below. That is a lightning fast TTK, and jokes aside, there are plenty of ways you can make Swash work. Now, yes, obviously, the strongest choice here is probably Prismatic Titan with Knockout and Diamond Lances, but there are still plenty of other ways you could make this work on a Warlock or a Hunter. Damage a target, then clean it up with something like Threaded Spike, Celestial Fire, Lightning Surge, so on and so forth. Melees are in an extremely strong place right now. Now, I still like Keep Away in that third column, but I do think that Killing Wind might be a better choice if you're going for a Swash build, since with the range and mobility boost, it will just make keeping that streak momentum a little easier. Now, as far as weapon feel goes, this thing is incredible. I don't really know what's up with this thing, but it is a laser beam. It's extremely controllable. Like, on paper and for PvP, in theory Repose is a better choice, but honestly, personally, I would 100% take Oracle over Repose just because it feels better. It's just so much more controllable, and the recoil doesn't have that awful sideways rectangle pattern that Repose does, and it still has a great PvP perk pool. Outside of that, it feels very responsive, the sights are very clean, and the weapon model is unobstructive. And, you know, it's also just a great looking weapon, especially with the Festival of the Lost Memento. So overall, I love this thing in PvP. It's a great weapon, not meta by any means, but extremely fun and very effective with the right role. Now let's talk PvE, because there's great stuff here too. In the third column, you have Subsistence, Strategist, Demolitionist, and Destabilizing Rounds. Fourth column, Repulsor Brace, One for All, Collective Action, and really any of the damage perks we discussed before. So jumping into combos, there's one here that's really pretty unique that I like a lot, and that's Destabilizing Rounds with One for All. Quick editor's note here, unfortunately in my testing, from what I could tell, it seems like the explosion from Destabilizing Rounds does not actually proc One for All, meaning if you trigger the explosion and it tags, 2 or 3 other enemies, it's not going to proc One for All. But even with that, while that is a little bit disappointing, the fact is you've still made a bunch of enemies volatile, so as long as you clean them up, and hit 2 other targets, you're still going to proc one for all. And between destabilizing rounds, making enemies volatile on kills, and the essentially free damage from one for all, you can still get some really nasty chains going with that combo, so it's still probably my favorite here. Then, of course, we have a longtime favorite of mine for PvE, and that is destabilizing rounds with Repulsor Brace. So Repulsor Brace will give you an overshield for kills on void debuff targets, and this synergizes perfectly with destabilizing rounds, meaning in PvE you could have a near constant overshield going. Outside of that, for more general ad clear, Subsistence in the 3rd column with literally any of the damage perks outside of Kill Clip for obvious reasons. My favorite options are One for All, Collective Action, and Swash. Subsistence really just to keep your mag topped off so you can maximize the amount of time you can take advantage of the damage perk, then One for All for obvious reasons, Swash because melee builds are extremely potent in PvE, and Collective Action because you'll be grabbing elemental pickups for that 20% damage buff without even realizing it. And with Stasis being as strong as it is this season, you could easily go with a Stasis Shard build such as a Rhyme Titan and just keep that damage buff going without even really trying. So those are my favorite options, but you could of course go with Strategist or Demo in the 3rd column, Strategist for class ability builds, Demo for grenade builds, then just pair it with the damage perk of your choosing. So overall, this is just a great auto rifle, very good in PvP and extremely potent in PvE. So, is this worth the grind? Absolutely. For one thing, it's craftable, meaning you're not entirely at the mercy of RNG. So, wait until Garden is farmable again, get a group together, or hit up an LFG and farm away. Plus, the encounter this drops from is extremely easy and relatively quick, and if you're impatient, then just burn a couple of deep-side harmonizers. Either way, this auto is well worth the grind. It's very strong and so insanely fun. That's all from me today, Guardians. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative or helpful, then do me a favor and hit that like button and leave me a comment with how you want to craft your Reckless Oracle. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the bell icon and check the description for my other links. For now, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, Guardians.